think, yes, it takes courage to reinvent yourself, but I also think it's incredibly liberating to know that at any point you can decide to become a new person. You can decide to create new habits that compound over time. Because I think transformation, real transformation, is actually very slow. It's not these huge eureka moments, which we talked about earlier today. It's actually learning how to apply things in your life on a consistent basis until the point that you look back 2 years later and you're like, I'm a different person.
Yay! Welcome everyone to another episode. Staffan sending live here together with
Thomas. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, we are in a new studio today. We are in Stockholm, Sweden, where mother tongue is from, but we're not going to do this episode in Swedish, or
that'd be a problem for most people, I think.
That would be very problematic. Yeah. A common question, by the way, I didn't think about this, but many people ask us, do we speak Swedish when we speak with each other?
And yes, we do.
Yes, we do, yeah.
But we should probably explain what this is, because we have launched a podcast, but we've decided to upload this episode on the Seek Discomfort channel. This will be a collaboration post with our Yes Theory podcast channel that you can see below. So if you are a Seek Discomfort viewer, welcome to our podcast. We're going to do a bit of a personal recap of lessons, experiences of the year, and kind of what we're trying to do in 2026 with Yes Theory, because we have a lot of plans, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that are going to happen. And we thought we'd put this episode on Seek Discomfort so that those of you who haven't found our podcast yet have an opportunity to do so. And we also haven't uploaded so much on this channel. So we thought, why not? Let's put out an end-of-year conversation on this lovely channel. Hopefully 2026, we'll see more uploads on this channel. But we've just had our hands full on the Yes Theory channel this year, which we can talk about a little bit. How many new traumas have you gathered over this year?
The list is long. It's been some tears, it's been some smiles, it's been some laughs. It's been like, it's interesting to measure the year in laughs as well, right? It's interesting to measure the year in maybe like smiles and also tears, because I do believe a tear is an expression for something as well. I wish to welcome it. Maybe not every day, every hour, every minute, but it has for sure been, I think I never cried as much as I've done 2025, but I also had one of my best years ever. So it's like, it's interesting.
Contrast.
Yeah. But super welcome to everyone. Just want to send so much gratitude and love as well to people like saying hi to us either on the street or Instagram DM or on YouTube comment section or elsewhere. But you are like literally carrying this podcast. It is our 10th episode. So would love to have some clap sounds if that's possible. If you're listening from a train or a bus or your bedroom or home, maybe you clap in your room as well with us. But we are very stoked and very happy, and we are finding this very fun. It is a lot of work. We've been recording this podcast in different countries and different places, on the beach in the Pacific, and now we're in Stockholm, Sweden, where we just celebrated a little unofficial Christmas party before we're celebrating with our own families. But we are home in Sweden right now, and we just want to say thank you to you guys. We are stoked to what to come. But before we go into like next year, we're gonna like dive into like the year that's been. We asked on Instagram a question if people want to ask us like anything, literally anything. So we're gonna like open the mobile in a bit and answer questions from there. But we're also just gonna tune in with each other and check in. So to start with, how are you right now, man? How's your heart and spirit and body and mind?
Good. I feel good. I feel quite tired from the year. Don't want to. In a lot of podcasts, we talk about being tired. This is not our unofficial place to complain. I'm not complaining.
Therapy session begins.
It's just I want to be honest.
Safe space, Thomas. Safe space.
It's been a lot, but it's been a lot of fun. I do want to say so. It's just been a year of having to learn how to. As some of the people watching know, I lost my mom last year. So I've had to learn how to exist without her, and it's still very strange. And it was hard for me for a long time to allow myself to have fun without feeling guilty. So it's not to make it a downer here to talk about this, but
it's always welcome.
I'm learning how to have fun again, which is weird because it's been a few years that I've had genuine joy, like from the depth, without having something in the back of my mind. And I think slowly I'm allowing myself to be happy again, but it's really strange. And most days are still up and down, but I do feel a deep sense of purpose with what we do, which I think helps a lot. Like, I think if we were doing like brain rot, I think I would be like, what am I doing with my life? But luckily, I feel like our videos are only increasing not only in depth, but also in fun. I think like, we're really going for adventures that we're excited to go on and that scare us as well. I read somebody recently that wrote like, "Oh, yes, there has gotten comfortable." I'm like, "Are you watching the episodes? Like, what episode have we been comfortable?" But it's funny. I experienced that we're only getting more and more discomfort in our stories, and we're going further. We're taking, hopefully not more uncalculated risks, but we're taking more calculated risks, and with that comes nervousness, and you have to learn how to adapt to difficult situations. So. Yeah, it's been a good year, but a challenging one that we've experienced together.
Yeah, can I ask you a question of when it comes to having fun, all blessings and your mom is always welcome. And I said, like, we are just like two friends talking this conversation, right? And people are like saying that it feels like hanging out as friends. So whatever is true for us right in the moment, we wish to bring, and hopefully that serves a higher purpose that brings into someone's own heart and soul and spirit, right? So always welcome. I just want to literally say that again. Like, we can talk about your mom every single episode until the end of this podcast. I just want to literally have that said. She's always welcome, and I just want to have that said. And over a year ago now, like, since she transitioned into an angel, as I say, and do you feel that you've been able to, after, immense pain and all of that, been able to allow more joy? Like, I've experienced you as a friend and travel partner, and we've been to 25 countries together this year. So wow. That's a whole journey. Did some calculations before this episode now, before entering this office space here. So 25, but as I witnessed you and experienced you, but I'm curious to hear it from yourself. Like, have you been able to allow more joy for yourself this year that has been, and how has that expressed itself?
Still working on it. Yeah, I think it's I talked to my dad about this too. Like, he had a hard time. We were at like a big birthday party, and he just couldn't dance. He was like, "This feels strange without mom," because we always danced with mom. That was like a thing. And I was like, "But Dad, like, she would love for you to dance right now." So we danced one song together because it was one of her favorite songs that came on. I was like, "Come on, now we have to dance." Yeah. And it's like bit by bit, I think it's like takes courage to like to allow joy to re-enter my life, and it's taking time. And I'm not trying to rush it either, because I think you can't force joy or happiness, but you can create space for it, and try to be mindful of having any guilt, attached to it. So it's, I think when I speak to other friends who have lost parents, they just, yes, time heals, but also it never goes away. Like that's the thing. I think grief, we think it's a process. We go through step 1 to whatever, people, how many stages of grief people say there are, but ultimately it's a lifelong thing that you just hold now, that you just have. Like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a part of you. And I've heard people say basically you just learn how to coexist with the grief rather than overcome it. It just becomes integrated in your life. And that's sort of what I'm feeling now, is that it's just becoming a part of me rather than something that I've experienced and that I've gone past. It's different. It's not like a breakup that I think you can sort of, move on from completely. It's because it's too deep, right? It's too big, grief. But yeah, I mean, we can go down this rabbit hole, but I want to hear how you're feeling at the end of 2025. How are we feeling?
How are we feeling? Yeah, walking towards truth and honesty, as we all know. I have to say that came to Sweden this Sunday, right? And I went on I never opened up and talked about this, and I'm not ready to speak about it yet fully, but I have a beautiful group in Sweden which I go and see, and they really helped me to be on the place I am to today, So on Monday I went to this group and sharing circle and met with the people who were there, and I was quite sad actually. I cried quite a bit, and I was there today as well, this Friday, and I was so happy and I was so excited. So they must have wondered, well, is that same person that came on Monday and on Friday? But I think it's also beautiful that both of these things can coexist, right? Some weeks, some months, some day it's easier, it's harder, but Overall, I think life is a such beautiful ride. It's like a ride of different emotions and different challenges. And today, right now, when you ask me, I'm feeling more excited than ever for the year that's coming. I'm also in a very introspective state when it comes to reflecting about the year that has been, the ups, the downs, the bad, the good, and the ugly. And it's been a bit. We've been to 25 countries, yeah. And yeah, it's been a journey. But most of all, I just go towards gratitude right now. I go to gratitude when it comes to, and it's not always easy, but right now I'm feeling very, very in tune in that of just thanking and being grateful for whatever was sent my way 2025. I cannot always say that, but right now I want to say thank you to whatever was sent my way. It either taught me something, it either showed me something, or it either reminded me of something that I maybe needed to be reminded about. So yeah, feeling grateful right now, I have to say.
Are you actually able to be grateful for hard things that have happened?
Right now, yeah, right now.
Okay.
And
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. If you ask me tomorrow, maybe I feel different, and that's the thing. But yeah, right now I'm able to feel it. And you've seen me cry quite a bit this fall.
A couple times.
A couple of times, yeah. And yeah, and I think the more I avoid those things, I think that's when the problem starts to come. I think that's when I start to lose tune with myself and the rhythm of life. I think that's when I start to lose myself more, when I'm trying to push it away. So I hope I find the courage to continue walk 2026 towards, what's present. Because the more I avoid it, then I feel more unbalanced. It happens on trips as well, because then it's harder to keep the routines. We spoke about that. Like we did an Asia tour now, and sometimes it was tough. We did 7-8 countries, film videos far away in Brunei. Shout out to the people of Brunei. That was a lovely time to look back at. But it was also a time when you're hitchhiking on a road in so hot weather, and you're sleeping not at your own home for several days. And then you go to Macau and you survive on the street 24 hours with no money. It's just very high intense experiences, which shows beautiful things from humanity and the world, but it also takes a toll on you as well.
For sure. Is there a main key lesson that feels most alive in you right now from this year?
To work towards staying regulated, I would say, with my nervous system, with my mind, with my body, because when I'm dysregulated, it's harder to be, in tune and feel these feelings, right? And to be riding the waves. So I personally would say to do the things I know I need to do, and to continue to stay regulated, to stay in my highest power. Yeah.
How can you do that more?
I would say to invite meditation. We spoke about it, but would love to really get back to meditation. I go on and off with it. I don't know how it is for you right now, but sometimes we meditate together and sometimes we have more and less of it. Before every video I meditate, but I want to have it on a daily practice.
Maybe lower the, doesn't need to be super long, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've started to tell myself 5 minutes is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think sometimes when you've gone really far into meditation and you've meditated for hours or 30 minutes, or it feels like I don't have time to do a proper meditation, so I'm just going to not do it at all. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed that a 5-minute intentional meditation can be all you need to anchor yourself if you don't have time, right?
Yeah.
There's this famous meditation saying that a teacher told its student, and it was man, I don't have, meditate for 10 minutes. And the student was I don't have time. Okay, then you need to meditate for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was specifically because you're so much in a rush.
Yeah.
Then you really need to prioritize it, because it's, I think, when we're always overstimulated, that's something I want to change next year. I feel overstimulated all the time with my phone, and just, I think it's the same note of the nervous system. I don't think our bodies and minds were ever created to be so stimulated and distracted all the time.
We're getting fried.
And I noticed it's harder and harder for me to be comfortable not having something that I'm consuming. I'm not listening to an audiobook or reading or watching. Just being is like more challenging now. I saw a guy on a reel that was doing like fixing my attention span by just sitting for an hour. That was like his challenge. He was like he filmed like a time lapse of him just sitting in a chair, like not doing something.
Yeah.
And it's like I watched him do that, and I was like, that would be hard to just sit down in a chair and do nothing for an hour. Does seem challenging now, which is insane. There was like a thing that we just did before. Just sitting sometimes was okay. You didn't need to be scrolling on reels or consuming something.
Yeah.
But now that seems impossible.
Yeah. Talking about the year that has been, one episode was, I know it's both one of our favorite episodes because we spoke about it. We went to Sao Tome and Principe, a country in Africa, an island country, a country not too many people visit as well. And we left our mobile phones home in Paris, and then we went to the airport with our boarding cards in our hands. And then we were without our phones for almost 1 week of like going and back. And it was for sure one of the best weeks of that year.
Yeah.
Do you agree on that statement? One of the best weeks.
You know what's weird is I remember it felt like the days were so much longer.
So much longer, yeah. We could do so much.
Yeah,
we read books. Sorry for interrupting you. We read books. We played games. We spoke about things we didn't have time to speak for. We were like,
it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. So much more felt like it happened because even in the car ride, no one was on their phone. We'd be talking. We'd be playing games. Something was happening. So it felt like we fit more in the day, really.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't hours in the day that also just disappeared with like doom scroll or, other stuff. And you realize, I think we have this idea that what if there's an emergency, and I need to have my phone. I came back, there was not a single emergency that I needed my phone for. And of course, sometimes emergencies happen. But I think we've convinced ourselves that we like need to be connected all the time.
Yeah.
But do we though, right? Like, I don't think we need to.
Yeah, we need to be connected internally, right? That's what we wish to be more of, not externally. We don't need to like fill the buckets of water outside of us. We need to fill the bucket of water inside of us. Have I ever told you about my 3 inner guides? I don't think I have. So. I've read about this somewhere at some point, and I resonated with it. So let's see if people tune in with this or not. But my 3 inner guides, one of my guides is my intuition. My intuition to like sense stuff. I don't feel that right when I'm too much on my phone or like doom scroll or watch shit. Then I'm like,
but doom scrolling is fun. That's the problem. Sometimes it's fun. The dopamine feels good at the beginning. I like it, but then afterwards you feel empty and sad, and you're like, man, what am I doing with my life?
Who am I?
Yeah.
You enter the bathroom, look in the bathroom mirror, and like, who am I? Yeah. Where am I? No, but that's the thing. By the way, just exposing Thomas here, I don't know any bigger meme master than Thomas. So Thomas, it does makes me laugh quite a lot. Sometimes I'm like literally almost crying. Sometimes you get me to crying. I'll text you that sometimes. Well, this one fucking got me. I say,
I'm good at sending the right memes to the right people. I'm a meme dealer. I know who's gonna like which one.
Intuition and memes with a good amount of fortune, but like to stay tuned in my intuition, one of the inner guides. The other one is the nervous system. I talked about being regulated, right? To have a regulated nervous system. I'm sure that people listening are familiar with this, and maybe some are not, but like it's interesting to actually think that we have a nervous system to speak to us, and how can we actually listen to it then? I do try to listen to my nervous system. What is it saying here? Is it some information that's coming up because of some trigger? And I do believe like the triggers can be transformed into a treasure if we dare to look at it right and dare to alchemize it in a way where we can maybe need help sometimes, or we can do it ourselves. But my main point here with inner guides is there's information to get from our inner guide in the sense of the nervous system. And then my third guide is my values. Like, what is my core values to stand on when, I am tired, or when life is tough, etc. Like one value is, to be very close to family. And I opened up recently that a thing happened to, someone, and that it's no question in mind, like I'm stepping out there and I'm doing it, and I'm, we had just came home from, an ASA trip, and we had been in Germany and in Luxembourg, and then, this phone call I got that I mentioned, and then it's no question, like how tired I am. 5 hours later, I was on a plane to meet this beautiful soul that that people might actually see 2026 in a yesterday review. we can say. Those are my three inner guides.
That's nice. I like those.
Yeah,
those are good. good, like they're good compasses to. I think the first two are like guides, I guess values as well. But I think when life feels uncertain, if you have no values, I think it's very hard to have a consistency, a through line throughout your decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in a way, sometimes I think religion used to teach us like these are the values, right? This is a good moral compass, and I think now many people aren't really sure what their values are because it's not really something we practice intentionally. But I think I like having a set of values that you can always fall back to, and it's a good measurement for how far off of who I want to be am I currently.
Yeah,
That's
a good one as well.
Because I think, sometimes we stray away from who we are.
Absolutely.
And we need to come back. And knowing these are my values, integrity, honesty, kindness, whatever values you choose to orient your life by, I think it's a powerful tool. So I like those lists. I'll
give it for free this time. Next time you have to
it.
pay, bro. But this time I give it to you because you're my friend.
I'm going to steal it and say it was mine. But now it's recorded, so.
Damn. Yeah, cool. Could potentially check some questions from our beautiful people out there.
Yes, we can do it.
Okay, opening my mobile now. Whoever's listening to this and not watching, we are recording this and showing it on YouTube, on Spotify, and whatever is out there, Apple Podcast. But is it video on Apple Podcast? I don't know. I'm a such a newbie.
Actually, not sure.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
I think you put your phone away. Oh.
Yeah, here it is. So, but anyhow, regardless if you're listening or watching this, I'm opening my phone now. I'm gonna check some questions from people who.
Do we have some good questions? Is the question.
We never know. We're jumping into this.
Let's see how this goes.
It's always some, when you're opening up something and you don't
know if there's a troll.
Exactly. The first.
My question is, what happened to your hair, Staffan? Do I feel partially responsible because before you met me, you had hair?
Yeah.
And now you don't have any. So
the stress levels
how
went
much
up.
Stress have I added to your life?
Quite a lot, actually.
Quite a lot. Yeah.
I see my wrinkles has increased as well since our friendship. So I think my life was going straight up, and then, one of the first videos, when officially we were going live with all of Yes-Tier, etc. You know what someone commented on a YouTube video? It was I think it was one of the first. I went in the comment section and I saw someone texted. They wrote, next video, Staffan should go to Turkey and it should be sponsored with Turkish hairlines. And I was like, come on, bro. Come on.
To my defense, your hairline was on its way out before we met. So it's not entirely my fault. I may have sped up the process, but it was not entirely to blame.
Yeah, it was going downhill. We could talk more about that at some point as well, because I know people thank me on these things as well when it comes to, the day I cut my hair. I was super nervous when my hair was falling off. I was like, shit, what's happening? Have I done something wrong or so? But apparently that happens quite a lot of men. Also women, by the way. Shout out to all women as well that experiences alopecia or whatever it's called when you start to lose your hair. But that was a journey, and it was also now when we're on the topic, I just want to give a moment to it. Because it was so scary, and I was losing myself in it. But at some point I had to face that as well, not hiding myself wearing a hat or a cap or, And a little story about it, that first time I didn't have any hair was the day I was born, or very little hair. Second time I didn't have any hair. The night before I cut it was before I was going to go to a retreat called Rebirth Ceremony. I know some people may think this is going to be crazy, but anyhow, I really liked it. I actually loved it. But it was a weekend retreat in the forest in Sweden.
Oh, God.
Yeah, deep in the forest. Very good people. But of course, I was a little bit nervous before going there, but I had heard very good about it, from a person in Stockholm that does breathwork and these things. Anyhow, I was breathing in warm water that represents the temperature, how it is to be in the womb, So the first time I didn't have any hair was when I was born. Second time I didn't have any hair was when I was breathing in warm water. And I was
that's quite strange.
And I was reborn. And then I was now I'm going for it, This is a reborn Staffan. So that was my story. So I just open up. Can I get some claps from the podcast editor here? Because I felt
well
here. So
done.
Thank you.
I would be terrified to shave my head. That would be quite a big problem for me.
Yeah.
So I would probably sign up for the Turkish airline thing if my hair continues to disappear. So far it's relatively stable, but it's not going it's not growing back right now. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm in denial for now.
We have a support group here, as you said. This podcast is turning into, a full-on, therapy for us, therapy for people who are listening, whoever finds something meaningful in it. We're no official people, but we're two guys trying to figure out life and sharing about
that is really what's going on
along the way.
But let's check some questions.
Let's check some questions here. So, okay, so, yes, okay. Shout out to random guy saying, I love you guys. So love you back. Honestly, thank you guys. We wouldn't have been where we are today if not you. So next one. How do you find the strength to reinvent yourself after feeling like you lost a lot of who you were? ? Wow, great question from _P.A0.
I think reinventing yourself is like an incredible feeling to know that at any point you can decide to become a new person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've read the book The Courage to be Disliked.
No, tell me more.
It's quite great, actually. I believe the author is Japanese, and I believe, I might be totally wrong here, but the whole book is a conversation between like a teacher and a student. And the teacher teaches Adler's philosophy, which is very different than Freud's philosophy. Adler is like the third biggest sort of around that time. It was Freud, and then the one that you really like,
Carl Jung,
and then there was Adler. And Adler has a little bit of like it almost feels a little controversial now, but basically he says that your past does not define your future. So he says that whatever has happened to you in the past, it is, if you're using that as an explanation for your current behavior, it is you justifying your behavior rather than it being like an actual thing.
Wait, can you say that again? Yeah.
So he says, Freud says that your past traumas defines who you are today.
Okay.
Adler says that whatever meaning you put to those things that happen to you influences who you are today. And
like thanking for what happened.
And
even
you can
if
choose to put whatever meaning you want to what has happened, which is why he compares people that have been through similar traumatic events. For one person, it's the end of their life. For the other person, it's like the most transformational.
I like this.
And so Adler says that at any point you can choose to interpret your life differently. He basically says everything serves a purpose. So if you procrastinate, or if you're in your room and you're depressed, this is a bit extreme, for like current psychology. But he says that if you're depressed and you don't leave your room, and it's because you had a thing happen to you, he says that is you using your past to justify not confronting yourself, to go outside and to like do things that actually scare you. And so he has like an extreme view of personal responsibility.
Exactly. I had disclaimer, and then obviously like to everyone listening and tuning in, and
so it's one perspective. I don't agree with it completely.
Yeah, but I get the memo of it, of like you can choose to
interpret things,
and work on things, and
because I definitely believe in modern day psychology that your past does influence things today, and so I don't mean to say that I believe in this. I'm just explaining what Adler's philosophy is, and what I mean to come back to the personal transformation thing. At any point, I think it's possible to change. I think it's possible to decide to rewrite your own story. And I think it's actually incredibly exciting. And Alain de Botton, who created the philosophy School of Life, thank you.
Nice.
He has this quote which says, if you're not at least a little bit embarrassed by the version of who you were 2 years ago, you're not growing fast enough.
Oh, I like this so much. I'm getting hyped.
So, of course,
it's the end of the year. Let's go plan goals and dreams for the next year to come. No, but
sorry. Of course, you shouldn't be ashamed of who you were, but you should look back and be like, oh, wow, I've grown so much.
Yes.
And 2 years is a good time window to look back and see yourself and realize I'm so different.
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad you got hyped.
I had hair 2 years.
So I don't think, I think, yes, it takes courage to reinvent yourself, but I also think it's incredibly liberating to know that at any point you can decide to become a new person. You can decide to create new habits that compound over time. and to transform. Because I think transformation, real transformation, is actually very slow, right? It's like small decisions that you make every day. It's not these huge eureka moments, which we talked about earlier today. It's not these like, wow, I got it. It's actually learning how to apply things in your life on a consistent basis until the point that you look back 2 years later and you're like, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
And it's because you've made different choices every day, right?
It's so cool, right? It's so cool. Yeah. It's so cool. This is like slam dunk. I have nothing to add to this actually. You're like, tung, kartung, made it, nailed it, chomp, make that into a shorter reel somewhere, post it, send it out on internet. No, but I'm thinking about, my family member as well that I'm already opening up about, and he's so courageous and brave of making big changes in his life, like that's exactly that, right? You have to like, and it's different layers to it. Once again, disclaimer for that. It's not black and white, but
of course,
the empowerment of, yes, you can change your moment by searching for help. Can be very tough, can be very hard, etc. But you can change your moment by saying yes to one human being that you meet on the street, 6th of September, 2019. Shout out to when we met. Okay, I'm going to calm down now. But it's like, yeah, for me, what happens in me when you share these things, because I told you before that this year is the year I cry the most, but I've also had an excellent year, which it's an interesting paradox, right? But both can coexist, right? And it gives me empowerment as well when it comes to the thing that is a little bit heavier, that it can continue transforming, right? And I can see that as well. But some days I don't see it. Sometimes I don't see it. But when we don't see it ourselves, other people can see for us, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I wish to add. So when you don't see it, I hope I can be a friend for you to see it. And I know that for you, I know that you have been that for me as well. And hopefully in the future as well, when I don't see it. And I open up about that for you as well. Like, I don't know how to solve this. And you're like, you got this, bro. And, someone who believes or give an advice or sees something that I don't see. So yeah, just inviting other people as well who are listening now, who are going through things. We know that we are all human beings, that hopefully you have someone, or at least that you have us, that hopefully can see things that you don't see, and we can together, explore the puzzle of being a human.
Yeah. I think what you said there is, I think a great friend is a mirror, but also an unconditional cheerleader. Right? Like a mirror is actually painful sometimes to look at, and you have to mirror each other to, I think you've mirrored me in ways when I was like trying to run away from expressing myself, and maybe sometimes isolating myself emotionally, and you caught me a couple of times, but then also cheering on each other, right? Because you mirror each other because you're cheering for each other, and you're not letting someone get away with not being their full self. And that's sometimes painful, but then you cheer them on when you see them, look at that mirror and accept it and make decisions to act on those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well said, yeah. I wish to see it as like someone having a lantern in their hand and then sitting next to the person with that lantern, and it gives comfort and warmth, so the frozen sorrow inside can melt, and then tears come out, or words come out, and things come out. But it's not necessarily we have to do. We just have to show up and be there, right? And let the person take the steps whenever the person is ready to take the steps. And can't we walk? Then we maybe crawl. And can't we crawl? Then we maybe, I don't know. But we're just trying to tell people, keep going. 2026 is coming. I'm hyped today. Yeah.
Okay, should we do the next question?
Next question.
That's a good question, though. I think
great
people that watch yesterday, and I know this for a fact, are very thoughtful people. Sometimes I get amazing DMs and questions in my DMs, and I'm like, I wish I had time to answer all of these.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. And sometimes I'll just send voice notes because I'm like, okay, this was actually a really good question, and I have 5 minutes. Let me go. But it is overwhelming sometimes, the amount of incredible, thoughtful humans who are watching, listening, engaging. I think, I feel quite grateful that we have a great audience, like truly amazing audience.
Yeah.
And I do feel, the word community is like overused, right? But I think that I feel comfortable saying it because there is like somewhat of a shared set of values. I think that, yes, there attracts in its audience. And through that, I do feel we have a community. And I think hopefully in 2026, we can find more ways to activate the community, because we did it more. We haven't had the space and energy to do it, but I think next year, hopefully, we will do more of it.
100%. And also doing like, a Zoom call with everyone who is tuning into the podcast, right? And have conversations with people and let people tune in and, and also have live events and things are cooking. Next question here from Madilito. What was the most memorable experience from the year? ? Good question.
It's hard for me not to say Pagan and the whole boat trip. We did a story, for those who don't know, where we were in this place in the U.S. called the Northern Mariana Islands. It's territory no one's ever heard of.
In the middle of Pacific, between America and China, for those who want to know the geography.
Yeah, it's very close to the Philippines and Japan, really, more than the U.S. And we heard of a man who lives on maybe one of the most remote of the Northern Mariana Islands, called Pagan. And you can't get there. You can't go. But we chartered a fishing vessel with a crew, put a bunch of boys on a boat, and it took us multiple days to get there because we were too many on the boat, and the boat ran out of fuel on the way, and we got stranded on a deserted island on the way there.
Yeah, and we ran out because we were overpacked with 4 more people than planned and more packing than planned. So the boat was taking more fuel than planned, and the captain had not been on riding, or how you say, this boat before. So it was just a mess.
It was also a weather change. The wind turned and it came against the boat. So we consumed that. With that consumes on long distance. I read a comment of a guy who's a proper captain who said, like, this is actually quite normal. The captain isn't only to blame. It is genuinely super challenging to do these sort of trips. But after a couple of days, a boat with extra fuel came and liberated us, and then we kept going, and we got to this island where this man named Jordan lives by himself on an active volcano. He is originally a Chamorro indigenous man from these islands, who are the people of the Northern Mariana Islands, and he just lives a fully off-the-grid lifestyle. He has no bank account, no phone. They've given him Starlink, but he doesn't use it. Like he finds it annoying, so he unplugs it and puts it in like a hurricane storage unit. He doesn't want it even around his camp, So when we asked him for it, he's like, oh, and then I went with him, and we walked 3 miles to go get it, 2 miles to go get it. That's how far he chucks it.
Bro, it was in the middle of the night, and we wanted to connect with Susan's message. You had walk.
I had to go so far, and even music, he just thinks it's a distraction.
Yeah. Why is it the most memorable experience? Understandable out of what you say here, and we did it together, and it was beautiful. But if you would why this out of 25 countries and all the adventures we've been on this year? Why is this the most memorable one?
I mean, maybe I'm partial. I have recency bias a little bit because it's the most alive in me. It's the last real big adventure we did. But I think largely, I just think it was so shocking, to be so far. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I felt very humbled to get to learn about the Chamorros and their life and their spiritual beliefs and what it takes to be a hunter. Essentially, live as a hunter-gatherer, is actually way more intense than I think I thought it was. I had this romanticized view of it, but it's actually super difficult. A lot of the comments were like, man, I want to live like that. But when you look at how Jordan lives, it's so much work all the time. He is constantly thinking about what is he hunting? Where is he going? How many resources does he have? Does he have enough of this? Does he have enough of that? I need to fix this. This thing broke down. A hurricane came and wrecked his entire house. He has to rebuild it by hand.
The dogs are protecting him during the night, so wild animals don't come and attack
and
him.
You don't sleep. There's so much noise at night. Wild animals barge into the camp, and the dogs freak out. And I asked him. He says he never sleeps for more than an hour. He sleeps for an hour, and then he wakes up, and then he goes outside to check and see if there's things going on, and then he goes back to bed. He said he hasn't slept a full night in years. And I was like, Jordan, that's not good, man.
Doesn't sound healthy.
But he's just living he's different.
Yeah.
I've never met someone where I was he is just a completely different, I've never met anyone like him. And I'm I think you could do a Netflix award-winning documentary about Jordan, living with him for a month and just seeing what the hell does he do all day? Because we were there for one day and we were shocked in a good way, but also in the reality hit us.
It was eye-opening.
Oh, okay. This is this is a different life. This is a very different life.
Oh, but that's cool. That's cool.
What is the most memorable adventure or maybe memory?
I will say Pagan as well, to echo you on that, but to add another one that is very memorable, which is an adventure that I missed you on because you got in some unfortunate troubles in a situation we still can't talk about, but people who joined our podcast for this journey, no project problem, unfortunately made that you couldn't join that trip, but when I went to Brunei, and you had a little secret mission for me, dropped me off in the middle of absolutely nowhere in Brunei, left the car in this far remote country in like Southeast Asia, and said to be the strictest, said to be a country with the most strict rules in the world. But we believed in kindness. We did experiment of a stranger just a friend you haven't met yet, and we hit the road, me and our beautiful friend Corey, a cinematographer friend, and we met this beautiful family, right, from this small town called Labi. Never been captured before on the internet, or even TV, what I know about, but don't quote me on that. But anyhow, we made like a full-on story about their family, and we met like a very cool guy the other day here in Sweden, right? Niklas Ekstedt, such a genuine and friendly soul. He texted us and said if we wanted to meet up here in Stockholm, and we were super happy. It's a kind-hearted soul, but he was so excited about like how we ate the food there, like in the
for context, he's one of the best chefs in all of Sweden.
Exactly. I got overly excited. I was like, oh my god, Niklas is texting.
So we were shocked that Niklas is watching our videos.
Yeah, we were actually.
We were
But he's such a genuine soul. But he is like, he makes food from.
He's a Michelin star chef. We were like, well, he watches our videos. What the hell?
Can I share something about that? When he invited us to his like Michelin restaurant in Stockholm. When we were sitting there, I was literally thinking about, growing up, never going to restaurants with my family because we couldn't like afford going to restaurants. And I was just having a what the fuck moment. I was like, how did we end up here? So that was.
I've never had a conversation. I thought, because he invited us, I didn't realize he was going to spend all night with us. Like we spent like 7 hours together. We got there at 6:30 and then we left at like 1, I think.
Yeah, you didn't drink alcohol right that night, or?
No, I would never do such a thing. That would be irresponsible.
Very irresponsible.
And I'm a responsible man.
Yes, good. Just checking.
Yes.
Anyhow, you can have fun without alcohol. Just saying that, but that was a fun night. Anyhow, beautiful soul.
What he liked about the video was in the story, the family that Staffan, the family of complete strangers, by the way, that are hosting you, speak English a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them do, right? They cook this food in bamboo. Like they chop down full-on bamboos.
Yeah, we went out in the jungle.
And he was fascinated that we captured that cooking process, which is quite cool, actually. It was fascinating. When I watched it, because I watched the full long string out, like when we were cutting down the story, I was like, what are they doing? Like, where's this going? Because I watched it from the beginning to the end.
Exactly.
And
with his eyes,
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was incredible. So but just to go so deep into a jungle to eat food from like someone who like cut the bamboo from the jungle, or I cut it, so as well, some credit. No, but I failed a couple of times when I was trying to cut it, but we did cut the bamboo, and then the most important thing was the family, they were just like full of love. I told them at the airport, that you are the proof of what we need in this world, which is love. They just like, I just cried at the airport, saying goodbye to these people. The hardest airport goodbye I ever done. That's my statement. The hardest airport goodbye. Sorry to family members and friends and other people, but it was something that just got so deeply into my heart. And I kind of knew as well that I don't know when we're going to meet again, if we're going to meet again, but I really hope we're going to meet this family from Brunei at some point. I really hope we're going to reunite, and I'm going to do whatever I can to hope to meet them at some point in place and time. So but that's so
I'll let you pull up the next question, but I will say traveling is the best medicine in life to regain hope about humanity. I think I lose hope every time I open Instagram and like Twitter, whatever X is called now. And but I regain hope every time I'm actually out in the world. And it's unfortunate that the internet is so negative focused. I wish our algorithms didn't try to just hold our attention, but actually tried to make us feel all right about the world, because fear is a very gripping emotion, and it's the easiest way to keep people glued to their phones. But ultimately the world has so many more good people, but that's not a good story. It doesn't get you to stay on the platform. If you talk about, look at this lovely family that took care of us, people want to see the horrible thing that happened.
Well, unfortunately, right? But I think the more we raise our consciousness and open our hearts and step into like a more kind of version of ourselves, I think we are able to handle that better, right? Because when we're not in a good spot, we have a harder time to consume these things, I think. I speak for myself. But with our beautiful community, right, and people watching, like meeting people out on the street and people recognize us, it's like, we're just the same. We're like, oh, another open-minded, curious, kind person who is like on his or her own, adventure, right? So I'm just saying, we're just warming up, ladies and gentlemen, 2026, like, because I'm not like, this becoming like a inspirational TED Talk here, but like, I'm not giving up until, one day I wish for humanity to like tilt over for us to be the majority, right? Because unfortunately right now I unfortunately think that the majority is more cynical thinking and being more doubting, and it's more cool, right? And it's more like that's what people listen to more nowadays when someone is just like fucking shitting on someone or something, or just being negative. But it takes more depth, takes more intention, right? It takes more, what I believe, courage to go within to be able to tell this story. So 2026. Let's chat about that in a bit as well, because we have been speaking about that. We're so excited, and we are like, fun times coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe this becomes the last question for 2025, and then we start to talk about 2026. Good. What have you learned / discovered or remembered about yourself this year? ? From Basma, Kurls and beyond. Good questions.
Do you want to start?
That I can do even more than I believe. I would say with the self-doubting voice, or the self-critical, or the moments of like, this ain't working out. If you just keep on going, keep on showing up. I read like this something on the internet recently, like, give yourself credit for all the silent wars you've been battling without anyone knowing, and you kept on going. And I used to think, as for all, we have different things in our backpack and stones in there, and I think the more we let them out, the further we can see. And I think this year actually reminded me about, yes, Staffan, you can. And for some people, maybe that's strange for me, people to hear me say that, but like, I just want to keep on believing, because sometimes when it's tough, on a private level, or on a level when it comes to a story that I wish to express and tell, like, just to keep on knowing that, stone by stone, and release, and the more free you can be, and then the more you can share your gifts that you wish to share, regardless if that is to be a good friend or a partner or a creator or whatever you want to fill the gap with. So that's my reminder to myself.
Nice. That's a good one.
I found this year. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Dream big, they say.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Dream big, start small. You know how many times I've said that to like high school students in Sweden? I was always running around saying, dream big, start small. Dream big, start small. So
that's good.
Your turn, sir.
I think that compassionate honesty is one of the kindest things you can do, because it's difficult. I think I used to avoid conflict because I was like afraid of either like negative emotions coming from it, or hurting the other person's feelings, or whatever. But I've realized that the longer you delay a difficult conversation, the more costly it becomes over time. And eventually it needs to be had, right? Like, you need to confront it. You need to face it.
Yep.
And I think maybe it's because we're Swedes and we don't just like conflict, and we just hop around it, because I've talked to many Swedish friends, and many of us have that issue. But I think the problem is then you end up walking around with resentment instead, because you're annoyed that you haven't expressed this to the person. And so just learning how to do it without bursting out. I have some friends who were recovering people pleasers who just yelled at what they wanted, which is doesn't help anyone either. Just makes it worse. And so if you can actually express your thoughts, feelings, emotions in a constructive, compassionate way that is still honest and sharp and clear, then you can transform your life, I think, and transform your relationships. But that's one of those things that you need to practice slowly and intentionally. right? It's not a thing that just changes overnight.
Mm.
Like it's small ways where you set boundaries and then you just say no to one person, and then you practice it in another scenario and then in another scenario, right? And I think over time you get to, I think, change and become a more well-rounded, full person. And for me this year, it's been a lot of that. Like, I think I just I talked about it with my dad also. Our level of patience for bullshit is just like gone. Like, I think since my mom left, I just don't have patience for bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's like, at some point I just like, fuck everything. It's like when you've been through so much, you're like, I'm not going to live a life where I'm like trotting around and not showing up with self-respect and not telling people when they're like, disrespected me or whatever, right? I think it's, you do it with compassion, but you still do it with honesty and courage. Yeah.
And your mom was a goddess as well, right? On calling
my mom was so good at that. That's the thing.
You have to carry the torch now of
Exactly.
No, but good to hear for you, man, to integrate that. And I've seen this year as well, and these things. So happy for you to express it in words here as well. Yeah, good on you. How does it feel to have stepped into a deeper version within yourself, to be more compassionate in expressing your... Yeah.
We're both doing it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
sure.
good. I'm saying this, but I know it's been a lesson for both of us this year. And it feels good. It feels like a liberation.
Yeah.
And I think my own self-esteem has increased because of it. Because I've learned...
I feel the same.
I also feel that my relationships are improving, actually, because I'm not afraid to say something if I don't appreciate something that's been done or said, or, and so I think, you realize that your own self-respect is worthwhile, and it's okay to speak up. And my mom was actually good at that. Like, she had to learn to do it as well. It wasn't default, but she just had to tell people like, no, that's not okay, actually, and I don't like it when you speak to me that way, or I don't like it when this or that. And sometimes I'd be like uncomfortable, when my mom would do it, but it always led to a better relationship afterwards with whoever she needed to have the conversation with.
We could do a whole episode about that as well, right?
Yeah,
talk about these
year.
things, and maybe we could do that next year. Yeah, like kill the people pleaser or something like that.
Yeah. For 2026, do you have an intention for the year potentially?
I do. I just want to add as well, because yes, I agree with you, and and I know, and we know that I've been working a lot about expressing as well and being more compassionate in it as well, because that's always want to keep the kindness in it, but to express, because sometimes I had a hard time thinking, expressing is not kind, and it's a bit of a mathematical formula I had to found in myself that keep on expressing. You're even kinder if you express when it feels not nice. You're just betraying yourself if you don't. And I read a book used to give people something maybe to read, is a book called Adult Children to Emotional Immature Parents. And I know that the title can be a bit provocating. I have some friends being like, I don't want to read that because the title, I don't have those kind of issues, but it's just a book that just describes it beautifully well with parents, friends, relationships when it comes to, how we build reciprocity and relationships, and it's just a great book. So we just wanna put that out there, and I learned a lot from that book. And yes, intention for 2026. Intention for 2026. If it would be a saying, it would be walk towards it. It just came now to me. Walk towards it.
That's a good one. I had a totally different. I was like, I'm ready for my Indiana Jones arc to begin. Totally different. I'm ready to go on an adventure.
Yeah, man.
It sounds crazy because we've been on adventures, but I think
Indiana Jones is walking towards it as well. So it can be.
That's true.
It could be a sync here on both of our intentions. So.
No, but I think I don't think we had the capacity to go far for a long time. We filmed episodes fairly close by. We did a couple of further away trips, but it really started in the last.
Just to clarify as well, because you were a beautiful son supporting your mom, just to give context for everyone. So we didn't choose to travel too far because to be home,
exactly.
But now things are different, and we've been traveling more this year and continue. What do you feel about 2026 then? Yeah.
No, we have so many ideas around the world that are far away. South America and Pakistan, in India, in Kazakhstan, Mongolia. Like we're looking at some incredible, like these will be insane. And I'm very excited to feel that I have the emotional capacity to think about, oh my God, we're going to trek with nomads in the middle of nowhere at like minus 30 degrees for a week. And now my feeling is hell yeah. Like before,
nice,
before it would be like, I can't. That's too much. We need to film something within within Europe and not go too far.
I know we're sitting with big mics here, but I want to give you a fist bump, so I'm going to lean over. So good on you, man. So happy to hear that. And the excitement towards, what to come and, the far away travels and hopefully find and tell the stories that, can be placed right in people's hearts and minds, because, that's what we wish for, right? We want to go far. We want to meet these, if we can find them, we hope to find them like in deep Mongolia. We are having a wild...
Because the reality is one day we're going to stop doing this, right?
Yeah, one day in this sense, yeah.
One day in this way, in this form, yes, theory will cease to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, we'll always keep a handful of trips every year or something.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, like the day that we have children, like one day that will come, right? We can't do this. We can't
hard to do 25 countries.
We can't go to like Afghanistan and Syria and certain like places is going to require more thinking, because now it's not just about you, it's about this child, right? So I'm nowhere near that. I'm, as we've spoken about in this podcast, my romantic life is non-existent. But one day it will happen, and I'm trying to just lean into the fact that like we have this moment now to do this,
to go far, to go deep.
Yeah, I feel that Yes Theory and the team that we have and our dynamic traveling and all that has never been better. And so it feels like so much has led up to this moment, it's, so I'm just excited, of course life happens and life is going to continue to happen, right? I don't want to go in with the expectation that, we're like things, we'll always need to continue dealing with things, right? But for this very moment, I'm looking forward to adventure and going far and experiencing the world, because there's been many years of not having that freedom, which was perfectly fine, 100%, right? But it's now that it's kind of there, I'm curious to go after it.
Beautiful. I get hyped once again, because that's what I feel as well. 2026, we've been talking about it. We don't know yet what is to come. We are like right now brainstorming, and if people have ideas for us, please send them in as well. Like we are here having ears open, but it's exciting times coming. And I just want to give it all, and when we spoke the other day, when it comes to, challenges and things like that, they will come, right? And, you supported me, and I said jokingly, but also very truthfully, instead of saying like, why me? I say try me. And yes, I don't hope for too many challenges to come, but I just wish to, and I even want to take that back, because I just want to try to stay, present and allow what is coming, and to just go for whatever is in front of me, right? And give it all, because that's what I'm excited to do. Give it all 2026. When it comes to expressing ourselves in this podcast for all episodes to come, hopefully this can grow into like a beautiful podcast following years that is like fully dependent as well of like engagement, and if people are tuning into this and resonating with it, right? So please, on that note, leave a comment, leave a like, share it to a friend, play it during Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. No, maybe not during Christmas, but or your other holidays. But spread it, share it, because it goes far. And we said it before, it's not the action in itself, but it's the energy behind it. We feel it, we literally feel it, and we're not taking it lightly. And it's you who are carrying the podcast with us. So I just want to go all in on the podcast. I want to do like deep, far travels, and also experiment how vulnerable and deep stories can we tell in a way that is like serving its purpose when it comes to the platforms we're doing right now.
Beautifully said. Do you have a prompt for today? We do this thing on the podcast where we end the podcast with a prompt.
Yes, I do actually. I used to realize a prompt now, and that prompt came from what is your name, sir? Axel. So we just met this guy Axel here, who was very kind to let us borrow the space here in Stockholm, which very kind of. And I told Axel that we just jump into these conversations to keep them authentic and real. And I asked you, do you have any input for this recording now? And Axel actually said to me that a good question could be like, what do you want to leave behind? What do you want to leave behind in 2025? And what do you want to walk towards in 2026?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So if you want to answer that in your journal, if you want to answer it in the comments, feel free to do it in whatever way you're most comfortable. But it will be great if you take a moment to reflect on that. I think sometimes we don't take time to reflect at the end. We just stumble into it. We write a New Year's resolution, but then that never happens. I think an intention and a moment of mindfulness before we move into a new year can be a great thing.
I agree. So thank you for this year. I want to say thank you. Grazie mille, shukran, merci, efkaristo. What did you say? Dankeschön, gracias. I think that's
Tack så mycket.
I think that's all. Tack så mycket. Tack så mycket. I'm from Denmark. Mange tack, maybe I even said it wrong, but anyhow, we're shouting out some thank yous.
So. With like a Danish accent. Tack så mycket. That's maybe how you say it, actually.
I think you say mange tack. I said wrong, actually. So you know what? So please do some wrongs, please do some rights, and keep learning and loving. And thank you for this year, guys. So thank you.
And also, if you watch this on the Seek Discomfort channel, this is the only podcast we're going to post here. So you can go to the podcast channel that is below and subscribe to that. We'll be resuming the episodes next year. This is our final episode of the year and the 10th episode. And look forward to being back in 2026. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year.
Beautiful. Been a pleasure, brother.
Been a pleasure.